So, the Salem Tier X cruiser, American. It's a very solid ship. Um, as we see, 54,000 health. It's not great. It's not the worst. It's good enough. Its guns, though, are very, very good. Two front-loaded turrets and one rear-loaded. It's got a pretty decent reload speed. HE does pretty decent, 50% fire chance, pretty decent damage, consistently starts fires. AP, sorry, where's the AP? AP 5000, again, hard hitting. If you get a broadsiding ship, especially cruisers, you can devastate them very, very nicely. Secondaries are not too bad. For a cruiser, it's not bad in terms of range. So you're getting close, you can do a fair bit of damage, but they're not really worth relying on. Range is okay, just under 16. It is on the shorter side, but to be honest, you don't really want to be engaged in any open seas, like long range battles with this ship. You're primarily going to be looking at medium to short range exchanges, where you can rapidly reduce enemy ships and use the defensive capabilities of the ship to hold positions. It's got two airstrikes, pretty decent. It's good that it's actually airstrikes as opposed to dropping charges. That is one advantage. Some cruisers don't have the airstrikes. AA supposed to be good, but AA is effectively useless against CVs nowadays. Maneuverability, it's not too bad. I mean, it's not on the quick size side. It's not that maneuverable, and it's not great stopping and starting. So you don't really want to be having to rely on, maneuvering too much. There are better ships than that. Concealment 12.1, it's alright, nothing to write home about. In terms of the equipment, so all the suggested ones I've added. I mean, I don't think you would want to swap out anything on position 1. Position 2, again, probably not. When it comes to armory upgrades, the surveillance radar might be worth it. And if you want to go hydro, it might be worth it. But as I say, you can only equip one of them. So I always run the radar, so it might be worth getting the surveillance radar there. In terms of the third slot, I've gone for aiming. I enjoy being able to hit what I'm aiming at. You could have an argument for traversal speed because the guns don't turn that quickly, but if you position yourself well, then the chances of getting surprise attacked are minimal. So traversal speed is not the most important. Slot 4, I've got propulsion because it is a bit sluggish and it's not the greatest maneuverable ship. I find it better to be able to quickly move forward and backwards. To be honest, it doesn't really do a great deal, but it's better than nothing. Slot 5, concealment. I don't think you would want to do. I mean, you might want to go for steering modifications, but I just think concealment's a lot better because without it, you're spotted at quite a long distance, and because your guns are not long range, you want to give yourself as much opportunity to get into a position to fight on your terms as opposed to another ship's terms. And slot 6, main guns, which increases the reload time, but obviously does slow the guns down a fair bit. there's an argument to say that you could increase the range. That's not too bad. It would be a different option if you wanted to play it a little bit more safely by not pushing up too far. But I kind of like this ship to. I like it sitting on the front, holding down an area, like securing a flank, or protecting a passage, that kind of thing. And as long as you don't get abandoned by the BBs behind you, you can lock down a flank pretty effectively. Obviously, there are legendary mods, but I won't mention that. In terms of flags, you've got a great heal anyway, but being able to heal more is always good. If you wanted to add fire flags, that's pretty good, but obviously you might want to go for the destination as well. There's nothing here that's essential. I would say, in terms of being set on fire, it's not the worst thing in the world. I've won a lot of battles by pretending that I'm low on health, and then when the person you're fighting pushes out to finish you, you click your super heal, and then they realise that you're just going back up to full health, and they're out in the open. So things like being able to put out fires and that kind of stuff, it's not that essential. In terms of captain skills, I haven't gone 100% as suggested. What I have done is I've increased the airstrike times for my anti-submarine warfare, because I find submarines are probably the most dangerous thing, unless a CV tries to focus you down. But a sub is going to cause you more problems, so the ability to get rid of subs is quite important. So I've gone for that, and also fire chance. It's those two together means that submarines, when you face them, are not quite as dangerous as they can be. There is an argument for bringing the concealment down even more to, I think you bring it down to about 10.8. But that's, it's preference. I also went for survivability. Another 4,500 health is quite nice. That increases AP damage by 5%, which is okay, but it's only like about, if you think like one shell is 5,000, so you're looking about 250 increase, which is nice, but because you're quite a tanky ship and your heals are quite effective, it's a balance, whichever way you want to go. But that's my loadout, so traversal speed and switching between HE and AP, fire chance, knowing if I'm getting targeted, and defense against submarines again, more health, more consumables, and adrenaline rush, which is kind of a given. And the last one is basically increases a battery reload speed when they're closer to you. So that recharge speed is quite nice. It just means you turn over quickly. So now on to the. I think I'm going to do a battle after this. So this is going to be a bit of a deep dive into the Salem. The Salem is one of my most played ships. It is, I believe, a coal ship. Obviously a tier 10 American cruiser. It's very similar to the Des Moines. The main difference is it doesn't have the ability to have a radar and a hydro, but it does have a very, very good heal, known as a super heal, and it can pretty much get you from practically zero health all the way up to full health, depending on obviously type of damage that has been done to you. So fire damage you can pretty much repair completely. I think citadels and some torpedoes might not heal fully. I'm not completely sure, but I mean, whatever damage does get done to you, you've got a really good heal. So this map is not the best kind of map for Salem, because it's got a lot of open waters, but it does have a lot of islands. And generally speaking, this ship is great at locking down the flank that you're on, or the area that you're protecting from enemy pushing further. So if you have enough team members on your flank that they can't just rush you, you are really good at holding down a flank. That's because it has 2 guns at the front, so 66% of its gun power is at the front that you can bring to bear from a very well angled position. Now in this position here at the moment, I'm trying to get across to the sea cap. This is a vulnerable position because obviously, given broadside, you are still a cruiser, and the cruiser flank is not really great. So I'm just very wary of the fact that there's a couple of big ships, big guns to the south that if I am not careful will take shots and I'll pay the penalty. So I'm just keeping my eyes out. Good, Yamato has fired, but I'm not going to fall into a trap of turning straight away and completely until I think that he's not going to shoot again. So there he's fired his front guns as well, so I'm not spotted, so I'm just trying to get across, and I'm looking for a position here to utilise the ship to its best capabilities. Now that is pretty advanced because I want to use my radar, and that's only 8.5 kilometers, but it's also utilising like things like islands or channels that I can actually protect. It's got pretty good AA, although like most ships, AA nowadays is you can just kind of ignore it. It doesn't really protect you. It doesn't stop a CV attacking you. It won't, you can do all the bells and whistles, and it isn't going to stop them from trying to get you. I want to get into a position here where I can try and help against the sub. It's got planes, which is good for a cruiser. Some cruisers do not have the ability to drop at distance. You have to sail over them. So I'm just trying to anticipate where this sub is going. It looks like he's going full forward, so I'm dropping my torps where I suspect he'll be. He's going pretty damn quick, so just in case. So now I'm getting into a position here where the Salem can really do its thing. I don't know how that submarine just didn't get any of those jobs, but what can you do? It's a submarine, they do have magical powers. So here what I'm looking to do now is get into firing positions where I can hold nose in and utilise the rapid fire guns, great HE, and if they happen to turn away and give me broadside, I can utilise the AP, which is also very, very good. So, some HE shells to try and get the burn on. He's moving quite quickly. And some AP as well, because it looks like he's slowing down, but he might be able to move away from that. And this sub is very rapid, but no, he's dead. Good, good, good. So, as I said, the guns are very, very good. Very strong, quick firing, can do a lot of damage really quickly. And I said, if you are facing off with someone who's going to be shooting you nose in, you don't really have to worry about HE. because if they set fire or if they do HE damage, all of that can be repaired. So ideally what you want to do is lure someone into a one-on-one battle, nose in with them, exchange fire, and then just heal when you feel that you can get the heal away, and they will probably not be able to keep up with you. So now what I'm doing here is I am pushing up because the two big ships to the south are out of range, so the only ship I can really shoot is the Cassard. So the only danger I have really of getting spotted is from that DD. So my priority here will be to use my ship's capabilities of radar, fast loading guns, and fairly quick movement to push up to a position where I can put pressure on the B cap and protect myself from shots from the south. Greatest fear here would be getting spotted by the DD coming around and exposing my broadside. Also the CV's coming in, so that as well. But I can't really do much against those ships to the south, so I get spotted the CV, so I'm turning out so that I'm not giving broadside to the two big ships to the south. What I can do here is try and put some pressure on the Minotaur. I'm going to turn out to give me some angles to protect from the ships to the south, and see what this Minotaur. The Minotaur is slowing down. Probably wants to sit in the smoke and take some shots, but fortunately I'm angled pretty well. He's not going to be able to do a great deal to me. DD comes into play again, swapping to a HE. Unfortunately, goes blind. Miner is still trying to penetrate me, but as I say, he might get a few hits on me, but it's not going to be drastic damage, and I'll be able to deal with that. Just looking for an opportunity to turn and maybe put some pressure on the Miner. So far, that Miner's evaded my shots, but it's got quite floaty shells. It takes a bit of practice to learn how to aim them, and as you can see, the shells from the Mino got one hit on me, but not really anything to worry about. Turning outside of the torpedoes, now I can put some pressure onto the DD. I could go for the Minotaur as well, but the DD will be the most important target, because that way the Minotaur can't stay in its smoke and won't be able to do anything about it. I now need to get this DD rapidly because he's going for Victor in the sub, so if I can kill him, that'll be very good for my teammate. And I managed to get the hit in. Excellent, that means that Victor is safe and he can go off and do damage, and we can now put pressure on the Minotaur. So now I need to be turning nose in so that I'm knocking broadside to the BBs to the south, such as the Kearsarge there. And I say the armour is pretty good. I mean, in terms of tanking, as long as you don't get caught broadside, you can tank pretty much most ships. There's a few ships that you don't really want to face head on. Vermont, any of the tier 11 ships. Yamato can do quite a bit of damage, but it's not as if you're doomed if a ship comes straight for you. You're obviously not going to last that long, but you can do quite a bit of damage, and you really only going to get citadeled if they get extremely lucky or you know, aim well and get RNG on their side too. So now there's not really, see they're in open water and there's not a great deal I can do to put that battle into advantage for my ship. If I can get to an island where I can use it to cover me from too much flank and I can shoot from cover, then that would be good. Otherwise, yeah, I'm just chasing these into open water, and that's not really the kind of fight that the ship is good at. I'd say it's like you're a knife fighter rather than a bow user. Get relatively close into an exchange of damage with someone, and as long as they can't get a really big shot on you and you keep them to your kind of fighting parameters, you'll do good. So I'm letting the Hindenburg go here in front of me if he wants to, although he's now turning out again. So yeah, I don't want to chase the Yamato, so what I want to do here is I need to be looking now at what targets am I likely to come into contact next. Now there's the ships coming in from the G line, so G4s, so they're probably going to come in soon. I'm just very wary of it being spotted and the Yamato, so I'm not spotted anymore, so I am now thinking where can I go, what position can I get into. So I'm looking to turn out and then get some shots on the Bourgogne as he comes around the side of the island. Unless there's anything close by, then I can shoot onto the Bourgogne and it'll sail into my shells, and I can keep the island between me and it. Obviously that's dependent on being able to see the ship, but at the moment that's what I'm looking at doing. So here we go. I can fire my shells, keeping the island between me and it, and as long as it's spotted, I can continue shooting and continue angling. And fortunately, he has HE loaded. Always good to come across a BB player who's firing HE. Now I get the kill. And obviously now Lepanto is apparently AFK, so I'd imagine Victor's going to have some fun there. And I'm now looking at the subs to the north and the San Martin. Where are they going to come from? Well, there's the San Martin, so let's see what happens. I'm very wary that the Yamato is to my south and the San Martin is to the north. So I'm kind of waiting for the Yamato to decide to do something. He's fired and he's fluffed his shot, so turning into it so that it goes over the top of me. I wasn't aiming for me anyway, but now I'm going to turn and look to put some pressure on the San Martin with the Hindenburg. Again, using the advantages of my ship, which is front on, I can do a lot of damage, I can absorb a lot of damage and really put pressure on them. HE's doing well. Getting shot at from the south, I'm not sure what's doing that. But here you go, HE shots, and if he happens to turn, then I can just get that AP loaded and really do the damage. There you go, he's turned out. Big chunky damage there. And this should be him dead. Nice. So now, main problem I have is the CV is quite close and he's going to focus me down. So I'm turning into him. The sub's there as well, so help out my friendly sub. See if I can get some shots on him. I think Victor's going to get him here. Oh, no, I get him. Oh, okay. So that's good. So now you got two options here. You can either sit back and let the CV just farm you, or put some pressure. So really need our CV to drive that Yamato away, because at the moment, for me to get to the enemy CV, I need to be giving full broadside to the Yamato, and I don't really want to do that. So I'm going to have to turn away from the Yamato and hope that my AA can prevent most of the damage from the enemy CV. It is 3 versus 2 at the moment, so I need to be careful of the Yamato shots. That does have the potential to one-shot me. So as long as I don't get unlucky here, I should be okay. I can't shoot at him, so I'm going to have to hope that Victor can do his stuff. Meanwhile, the enemy CV is going to be probably trying to focus me down, but there's not a great deal I can do about that. I can't really turn in. Unfortunately, the Yama is having to turn hard, so I'm looking to take advantage of that and turn in. See if I can nose into the Yamato and the CV, then I can reduce damage. But at this point in time, there's literally nothing I can do to prevent the CV from doing what it's going to do. Yeah, unfortunately, even though you have a great AA ship with like a consumable against AA, it's just useless against the CV. Nothing I can really do about it. Like every time it sends up a plane, it does like 20% of my health, and I have no comeback, which is why CV should be taken out of the game. But yeah, I'm hoping that they can get the. Okay, now good. They've taken the Yammer out, and now. Yep, I've repaired, but the problem I've got here is there's just coming another attack coming straight in, and it's beyond my ability to really do anything about it, unfortunately. Now at this point you're thinking, well, as long as I only take one, but then I get a flood. Of course, had to be a flood. And I've just fixed the 2 fires, so yeah, there's not much I can do. I'm dead here, but the game should be won. And I think Victor here will get the kill on the sub. As I say, it's a strong ship. I mean, I've almost tanked 2 million in a cruiser, which is pretty, pretty crazy. Got 4 kills, didn't do a lot of damage, but the damage that was done was more tactical. It is capable of doing a lot of damage, but to be honest, this isn't a map that you would get a lot of damage on more often than not. It's just a bit too open seas. So, summary of the ship is it's very defensively, it's very strong. Offensively, it's very strong. Got really nice. I mean, the guns are the best thing about the ship, I'd say. In terms of offense, it's got good AP, good HE. There's no weakness really. Defensively, it's got the super heal. It's pretty tanky from the front for a cruiser. It's just a very solid ship. So if you can afford it, I would say it's definitely worth an investment. Look at investing into it. And this game, as you can see, me and Victor did pretty well together. Nice, strong performance. So there we go.